Germany's COVID cases hit the record high with Merkel warning of dramatic situation. Berlin CNN. Germany reported its highest single-day surge of COVID-19 infections as Chancellor Angela Merkel said the dramatic situation was the result of the fourth wave hitting our country with full force. The Robert Koch Institute, called RKI, Germany's Disease and Control Center, has reported 65,371 new cases within the last 24 hours. It is the increase of 12,545 new infections compared to the previous 24-hour period. But these figures are likely to be underreported, and the true scale of infections could be twice or three times as many, RKI Chief Lothar Wieler told an online discussion with Saxony's state premier Michael Kretschmer on Wednesday evening. The country reported 264 COVID-19 related deaths from Wednesday to Thursday, pushing the total number of deaths since the pandemic began to 98,000 people in Germany, according to RKI data. Germany's 7-day incidence rate also hit the record levels of 336.9 cases per 100,000 people, up from 249.1 cases reported a week ago, RKI reported. Germany has one of the lowest vaccination rates in Western Europe, with just over 67% of the population fully vaccinated. Around 33% have no protection against the virus, according to the RKI. This is one of the reasons why infections have soared to record levels, say experts. The current pandemic situation in Germany is dramatic. I can't say it any other way, outgoing Chancellor Merkel told the mayors from across Germany on Wednesday. Hospitalizations and deaths remains at a much lower level than the previous peaks, but there is a growing concern about gaps in the country's vaccination coverage as it moves into the winter months. It would be a disaster to act only when the intensive care units are full, because then it would be too late, she added. Lockdown for the unvaccinated. The situation means that Germany is on track to become the next country to impose stricter rules on those who haven't been fully inoculated. Three parties making up the country's prospective new coalition government will debate the draft law on Thursday that would see stricter rules come into effect. Daily reported COVID-19 cases. The proposed measures would require the Germans to provide proof of vaccination or a negative test in order to ride a bus or board a train, in an expansion of the country's 3G system that requires either to enter certain venues and settings. Free COVID-19 tests would be reintroduced, as well as permission to work from home whenever possible. Green Party co-leader Robert Habeck told the public broadcaster ARD on Sunday that the rules in effect amount to the lockdown for the unvaccinated. Merkel will also debate the implementation of the stricter COVID-19 curbs with Germany's leaders of the 16 federal states. Berlin have already imposed the restrictions on unvaccinated people, whereas of Monday, proof of full vaccination or recovery from COVID-19 in the past 6 months is required for entry to bars, restaurants, cinemas, and other entertainment venues. But the current wave of the infections is mainly affecting the southern and the eastern part of the nation, where vaccine uptake is lower. People wait to be vaccinated at the vaccination center in Berlin on November 3rd. The pace of vaccinations have been picking up as officials called on the public to get immunized. For the first time since August, over 500,000 citizens in Germany were vaccinated in one day yesterday. Germany's acting health minister Jens Spahn tweeted Thursday. He said this included 381,560 booster vaccinations, which are so important to break this fourth wave. Germany's Vaccine Advisory Committee recommended boosters for everyone over the age of 18 on Thursday as it attempts to address waning immunity from the two-dose regimen. Despite the wide-scale availability of vaccines this winter compared to the last, Europe's Delta variant fueled fourth wave has made it the only region last week to see an increase in COVID-19 related to death, the World Health Organization said Tuesday. If the measures proposed by the coalition are agreed, they would move Germany closer in line with its southern neighbor Austria, where a lockdown specifically targeted at unvaccinated people came into force Monday. It bans unvaccinated people, more than a third of the country's population, from leaving their homes, except for a few specific regions. On Thursday, it was announced that the lockdown would be extended to the entire population living in the province of Salzburg and Upper Austria, as the new coronavirus infections continue to rise sharply. Salzburg's local government wrote on its website. Austria, where vaccine uptake is lower than Germany, is suffering an intense wave of infections and reported a record 15,145 new daily on Thursday. The country's 7-day incidence rate also hit a record of 989 cases per 100,000 people. By contrast, Spain and Portugal have avoided the brunt of the winter wave after posting the highest vaccination rate in Europe. France, which has almost 75% of its total population vaccinated, is weathering the new infection spike better than its neighbors. Nearly 5 million French have received their COVID booster vaccine shot. French government spokesperson Gabriel Attal said in an interview with the French media LCI on Thursday. This is a lot. It puts us above the most of our European neighbors, but it's still too little, Attal said. We must continue. CNN's Rob Pichetta, Martin Golandu, Xiao Pei Shu, and Meredith Ruhlman contributed to this report.